guys, welcome back to another video, and today I have a horror scene here for you. Something very different from what I usually do with my Dendrobium nobilis, but time has come for me to show you my failure, my big failure with nobilis. And I think it's due to many different factors, but these two nobilis are struggling a lot. So this one was probably all of the old pseudobulbs has gone. I need to remove and repot these cakes. Same thing with this one. The old pseudobulbs are done. I need to remove and repot the cakes together with the older cane here. I don't think these two will be able to bloom this year, but nonetheless, I think it's a good learning journey, and maybe you will enjoy to see that that can happen to everyone. So what happened to my nobilis? I've spoken about them in my last update. They got severely attacked by thrips. I repotted them and they lost their roots. They also got severely attacked by spider mites this season. So on the whole process, the roots start to die, and then they start pushing out Keikis to be able to survive, or to try to survive at least. And that's what I got. I got two nobilis completely rootless and full of Keikis. One has only 2 Keikis, but the other has many more Keikis. They are not being able to feed the Keikis anymore, I know, because the pseudobulbs, they are very limpy, thin. This one has 2 yellow, completely yellow and rotten pseudobulbs. So I need to remove the Keikis and pot them up to be able to save my plants. That's really, really important, and it's kind of urgent now, especially because it's the end of the summer, so I have to do it before it gets too cold. So I will do that today, and I'll show you what is happening inside this potting mix. I will pot them both almost together. Let's see how to separate cakes. Let's pot these cakes together, and hopefully I will have beautiful nobilis in the future. But for now, that's a very sad scene, and it's not something that I'm proud of. But it is what it is, right? The light is fluctuating a bit, but I hope you can still see my plant. So this is my Dendrobium Ikudaruma, and as you can see, the older growths are completely gone. They are mushy, they are yellow, they are not doing anything for my plant anymore. This growth is very wrinkled, and this one is the one who pushed out the Keikis. So let's now unpot, remove everything that's on the spot, and remove the Keikis from the mother plant. Let's see what we have inside this potting mix. So the root system is completely gone. Everything is dead here. I'm not worried about that because the base of my pseudobulb is also rotten. I intend to reuse this potting mix because I repotted this plant recently here. Let's now remove the Keikis because I will pot them separately. The roots are not that big or that large, but there is nothing that I can do. That's because the pseudobulb is not feeding the plants anymore. And as I mentioned, it's completely rotten at the base. So let's start rotating the keiki. That's the first thing that you do. You rotate the keiki. Oops. Careful not to break any roots. I prefer to rotate and remove that from the plant, then cut it, because then don't create any unnecessary wound. And let's see, okay. One keiki is here. Let's remove the next keiki. Dendrobiums, they push out many Keikis, and one of the reasons is for them to survive. It's like a survival strategy since the mother plant is dying. There's another one here that I don't think will survive without the mother plant, but I will remove it anyway. Okay, so my plant's completely gone. There is nothing that I can do with it. And now let's start potting up these Keikis. I will pot them together. The roots are not as long as I would love them to be, so we don't know what will happen. If the mother plant wasn't as rotten as it was, I would definitely wait a little bit longer, but I can see that's going away very quickly, and winter is fast approaching, actually autumn, and the weather will get very cold pretty soon. So I want to pot them up separately before that. I'm just using the same mix because it's not long ago that I repotted this plant. And the mix is fresh, so that's the reason why I'm reusing it. However, if in your case, you don't have a fresh mix in the potting mix that your mother plant was, if you have something like that, don't reuse the mix. offer it some fresh mix. Your plant will thank you later for that. Something else that I intend to do after that is to spray my plant with neem oil because spider mite was feasting on them. So for this reason, I'll add some neem oil to these Keikis to protect them a bit. So this is one. Let's see if I have the right tag. I do. Now I will add it to the same place that the mother plant was before, and I'll keep an eye on it, hopefully to be able to survive on its own. So let me grab the second one. So it has some rocks, crystals, to keep the plant in its place. I wasn't successful with it, so as you can see, let's remove this old growth from here. What I have in here is a little bit different because this division is alive and it's growing. So that was a keiki when I repot. I have a video reporting this plant. Let me remove that from here. So yeah, oh gosh, too much water. Let me throw this water away while I'm here. But I have roots from this cane here. So I don't want to stress it because this one has greater chance of surviving because of this cane, but I can see spider mites on it, so I need to spray neem oil. Now I will do the same thing with the Keikis here that are growing on the older division. We will just remove them gently from the mother plant, like so. One keiki here, another one, another another tiny keiki. I have one more. This one, and I have the last one here. So this division doesn't do anything for me. Completely thin. It's wrinkled. It has offered all of its nutrients to the Keikis in order to survive, so it's gone away. And I have this one as well. Okay, so I will do the same thing. I will pot it with this plant here, and we will hope for the best. So I will just grab all of these Keikis. As I said, I don't think the roots are long enough. Some of these has very tiny roots. The roots are maybe 10 centimeters long, maximum. I wish they were a little bit larger before I repot them. However, the mother plant is very stressed and I don't have a long time before winter. The best time for us to repot our plants is when the weather is a little bit warmer. So our plant has more time to adapt to the new potting mix. And also the plant is more active when the weather is warmer. The roots grow a little bit more, the leaves will grow more as well. So for this reason, I'm repotting it now. Let me do that. This mix is very moist, so I don't need to water it. The other one was a little bit dry. I need to water it because I don't want to stress my orchids even more. I will add the stones back just to make sure the root system is not moving inside this pot. And I will come to conclude the video. 1 second. Hi guys, so I came to conclude the video 2 or 3 weeks after I recorded the video because I lost the conclusion. Yay! It happens sometimes while you were filming and I thought I'd filmed well that day, but then suddenly when I was editing, where was the conclusion? I didn't find it anyway. Which is so good because I can give you also a short update on the Keikis. Just to let you know, before I showed you these beauties here that are in front of me, I sprayed everything with neem oil and water because I know that this has been severely affected by spider mite and I want to make sure that my Keikis and the mother plant that's here, they are all cleaned and sprayed. They will have better chance to survive without pests than suffering being munted up by spider mites. So for this reason, I did clear everything after I pot them up. Something else that I've done as well was placing some stones, some rocks here around the Keikis so the roots are stable. They will not be moving around when I take the pot for some reason from my shelving. The risk of having some damage caused to the roots, in this case something difficult because I might end up losing my Keikis. the roots, if they move a lot, especially around the bark tips, I can actually damage the root tip and the roots can stop growing. So it's very advisable to stabilize the roots of your orchid when you repot them. You can use some sticks. In this case, I had some rocks available, so I placed some rocks around the roots and they are doing well. So after I repotted everything, I also watered my plants because I didn't want them to stress out, and especially being a completely dry mix, that's really, really important. I am a little bit more scared about my Eucaudaruma because I have only Keikis in here. In the case of my other Dendrobium, I had one plant that is more mature, so this one has longer roots and has a better chance of surviving. In the specific case of my Eucaudaruma, both cakes didn't have super long roots, so although they are not super tiny either, I have to rely on the fact that these roots will grow well inside this potting mix. And there were tiny Keikis as well. They have been here for these weeks, as I told you, but I have no idea if something is growing inside the pot. So let's check this together before I conclude this video. In the case of the Eucaudaruma, I'm gonna give you some close-ups. I have two bigger Keikis, as I said, and one of them has one root here, but the root hasn't grown much. I cannot see anything super amazing. I cannot see anything coming out of the pot. Oh, yeah. So far it's the same, but they are alive and the leaves are plumpy, which is good news. With the second Dendrobium, all of the cakes are very, very tiny. I don't know. Yeah, it worries a little bit because they are not exactly super tall Keikis, but again, they are all green and they are all super stable on top of the pot, so hopefully they will grow well. I'll keep watering them. I'm offering them some bright light, and I will not put them in my cool space this year for the temperature to drop, and then they will be able to bloom. I will wait for the following year when I will probably have some mature cakes and canes here, and then I'll be able to induce blooming. But for now, I want these plants to grow, to become completely mature. And when I have stable plants, stable orchids, then I'll be able to bloom these ones in the next season. I'm not in a hurry here to have blooms because I prefer to have healthy orchids than to have beautiful blooms, or maybe not even a single bloom, because these are not mature plants. So for this reason, if you have something similar to this, wait for your Dendrobium Keikis to grow and to become fully mature, and maybe even sprout new Keikis, new growths, so you can actually bloom and rebloom your plants. That's what I intend to do with these, and I'll definitely keep you updated. Hopefully in the future they will be all beautiful orchids. But that was everything that I want to show you today. I hope you enjoyed this type of content. If you did, please hit the like button, maybe leave a comment down below and subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. And I hope to see you next time to talk a little bit more about orchids. That's all. Bye bye.